Welcome to the Border View Body Shop. Good morning. It's time to change some oils in some tractors. We're gonna service both of these today, so they both got to run for a while to warm up the oil. We'll drop that. We'll get all the filters and stuff out and change them. Brock's here this morning, so he's gonna work on that a little bit. I'm gonna keep working on this a little bit. Battery's dead. But I did bring my spare keys so I can get in at least. This trunk still has a, now somebody's stealing it, but. All right, we're good. We're gonna let that tractor run, and I'm gonna do it there. I turned my exhaust fan on to blow the exhaust out, or suck it out. We'll let it run for a while. Brock's getting all the filters down, so. If it wasn't for all the chips, it wouldn't look too bad. Actually shined it up okay. I've got an old touch-up paint pen that's supposed to be the same color that I kind of used to fill in some of the chips. And while it's not silver or rust colored underneath, it's not real smooth looking. And I'm sure I could fix that, but again, it's an old truck with lots of miles on it. I'm not going to take the time to do it. But we do have to address this. So I'm going to figure out what to do about it and work on that a little bit. Brock's over here changing oil. He's getting the filters off. This is painful. Oh gosh. Well, I done made it worse now. I gotta get all that rust out from in behind there. That's the problem, is it gets wet and crap inside there, and then it rusts from the inside out, and it's terrible design. This has turned into a much bigger project than I wanted when I brought this truck in here yesterday. Well, what are you gonna do? Brock just sat that filter down, and he said, "That doesn't look too bad. The inside's clean." Yeah, the inside better be clean. Do you guys remember yesterday how I was telling you that I was avoiding this because of the rust, right? And this is why, right? Here's why I was avoiding it. Because I don't know where to stop. So now we've got a giant hole. I've got it all cleaned up, real nice and pretty. We're not fixing it right, but we are fixing it. We're gonna fill it in, we're gonna make it look okay. I tried to chip out most of the heavy rust that was behind it. I ground down, tried to get stuff like that off, and we're gonna Bondo it. However, Brock had a good idea of filling this void in with some spray foam to take up all the gap. So we're gonna do that, and then we can cut it off nice and smooth, or in there a little bit, and then we can fill it with Bondo, or I've got some body filler with some fiberglass mesh that is probably a good idea for that big of a hole. This is why, because I didn't really want to do this, but I don't know where to stop. So I start cleaning, and I was just gonna chip the rust off and spray paint it black, and then as I was chipping the rust, I got holes, and now I got a big hole, and now I got to fix it. So, all right. So Brock is getting filters changed. This is the cab recirculating filter on the 8430. It's pretty dirty. You can see all the dirt that fell out of it there. So he's getting the new one put in. We're gonna let the oil drain on this till after lunch. I believe he's got the air filters done, the fuel filters, the oil filter, cab filter. So this tractor is pretty well done with the filters and stuff. This one here, we're gonna get running and do the same thing, drop the oil on that. There's the pile of filters that needs to go into it. So we'll get to working on those. We're gonna let them drain till after lunch, and then we'll put oil back in them, and then we can run them some more and stuff. He's also gonna work on cleaning cabs out and stuff. I guess I need some supplies, so I'm gonna run to town and get some things for this. I do have some old Bondo from old tractor project that I was working on several years ago. It all seems to be okay, so I'm gonna use this stuff, but I decided if I'm doing it this far, I need to get some paint that's semi-close to matching and not just John Deere gloss black. So I'm gonna run and get that, and I need a couple other things to make this project hurry up. So I'm gonna do that. So I just got back from getting my stuff and getting some lunch. Brock is gone, he's eating. He's been cleaning out cabs, it looks like, changing oil. I assume the filters are done, so that is awesome. Doing a good job there. I'll show you what I got. So I decided I needed some paint that's semi-close to matching, so I got some universal black metallic. Technically that color is black granite metallic. They didn't have that, but this is close enough. And I got some clear coat to go over it. I got some spreaders for our Bondo, because that little one there is too little. And then some sandpaper and tack cloth. But my plan here is I've got this giant hole in my fender that kind of sort of want to fill in. And so I'm thinking I'm going to take some of that fluid film and shoot it in there and get as much of it on the metal as possible to keep it from rusting, or try and prevent it from rusting, let's say, especially down in here. And then we're going to fill it in with this stuff. Now, this may seem not right. I'm not a body shop here, so I don't know how to do this, but it was suggested to me, and then this even says for automotive use, that you fill this gap in with foam and then Bondo over it and get your surface, and it fills that in and it gives it something to push against and adhere to. And I don't know, I have no idea if it's going to work or not, but we're going to try it. So that's my plan here. A few of you have suggested putting an aluminum flatbed on this instead of worrying about fixing these fenders. It's not a bad idea. I actually probably would consider that, but not right now. So for right now, this is what I'm going to do. And I've also gotten a lot of comments about putting fender flares on it. Also not a bad idea, but if you don't stop the rust, or it's still going to spread. The fender flares aren't going to stop it. It's just going to cover it up until it gets up out in here, outside of them. So I'm hoping that doing this and that fluid film that I sprayed in there might actually prevent some of the rust or keep it from spreading a little bit. So I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. I even got the black foam so that if you happen to see some of it, it doesn't stand out so bad. So is that stuff going to keep expanding, or do I need to fill the whole gap in? Doesn't appear to be really expanding very much. There. I don't really want it sticking out through it, although we can just cut it off with a saw blade pretty easily. But that'll give us something to push against. Yeah, that'll work. Cool. Well, that looks like it's going to work good. So while that is curing and drying, I suppose I should come over and do this side. I don't know. This side might be worse, guys. It sort of started out worse. Although maybe not, because back here seems to be better. Might be a shorter area that we punch through. I'll get my chipping hammer and wire brushes, and we'll see what happens. There's just nothing behind it. Look at that dirt just pour out. Oh, it's so bad. Well, the outside might not have been quite as bad, but that inside layer was completely gone on this one. The other side was still there. I don't know how I'm going to hold my foam in place. Crap. All right. Well, we'll figure something out here. I'm going to get my shop vac and try and suck the dirt out of there and clean up here a little bit more. All right. Well, I was a lot faster on this side. Funny thing, once you've done it once, you kind of know what you're doing. Guess I need to wire wheel a little bit right there yet. Still got some bubbles. The rest of it looks cleaned up okay. Well, I was able to shoot a bunch up in there, but I'm gonna have to build this in layers because there's no backing. The other side's got a plastic liner in the wheel well, I'm assuming something to do with the fuel tank being located on that side. This side does not, which is why that inner one rusted out and there's nothing behind there. This one was the same with the rust. It's just it's got this plastic piece that gave me a backing, more or less. So I don't know. It appears that Brock broke the crap out of my magnetic mount for my GoPro. That's okay. It was in pretty rough shape as it was, but when we started this, there was 24 videos on there. Now there's 39. Let's watch it.
Hi there. So, as Nathan said, I'm going to clean out the cabs while he is gone. This 8430 we don't use usually on the grain cart, but if you have been watching since the end of harvest, it had to be put on grain cart duty due to the 8335R having engine issues. So it is a little dirty and dusty, as you can see, but we'll get it cleaned out here, and all the oils and fuel filters and air filters are changed already, so we just got to clean it up and add oil to it once it's done draining. I'll set up a little time lapse here of me cleaning the cab. Nothing too fun, pretty much getting the trash out, sweeping it, wiping it down, and that's about it. So here we go. Done wiping out the 8430. The 8335 should be nice and warm as far as the oil, so we will drain that, let it drain, probably change the fuel filter, air filters, and cab filters, and then we might go to lunch. I know you guys have already seen this. Tractor, but changing the oil. John Deere makes it easy with his drain plug. If I can put it the right way. And on the 8430, there's about 6 gallons. So let's see how much is in the 8R. I'd say about the same, about 6 gallons. We'll see how much it should have when we fill it back up. But we'll let that drain for a while. We'll let it drain until we get back from lunch. I will change the fuel filters that are right there, and then the cab filters. On the bottom of the fuel filter, there's this sensor. It senses if there's any water in the fuel, and then there's also this drain. It makes it really nice when you change fuel filters, so you don't get diesel everywhere. But you just unscrew the bottom, it all drains out of the filter, then you just close it right back up and take the filter off. I don't know if you can see, but in this bottom there, that's the water separator, and that sensor there plugs right into the bottom of that to sense if there's any water. If there is, code will go off from the tractor to let the driver know. We'll close this back up, get the diesel out of the way. Let's see if it comes. There, it's coming. Slowly but surely. And I'd rather be slow than not at all. We can do it by hand now. Not too far off from last year, as you can see, January 13th. Today is January 5th. You'll be seeing the video on January 6th. So, not too bad. Now we'll get the secondary fuel filter off. There is no drain on this one. I think it's loose enough that we can do it by hand now. Once we get this off, we'll just flip it upside down into the pail that our other filter's in. And yep, there's going to be diesel spilling on this. But just like I said, completely full. I took the old filters over to the oil room. Over there in the corner, we do have a pan that will drain oil out of the filters and fuel. This is our primary filter. On the bottom it has a spot for the water separator. Then our secondary filter is just the regular canister. I don't know if you guys can see up there. Put it on hand tight, then we'll give a couple snug pushes with the filter wrench. I know we're not supposed to put it too tight beyond hand tight, but I do like to have it a little tighter than hand tight. Maybe one more fold. There we go. I think that'll do. Let the other filter drain a couple minutes. And we'll take the water separator off of that and got the water separator. It should just twist off of here. But maybe not. Maybe we're gonna have to go get a wrench. But it's draining now, so I'll go do that. So I gotta get this water separator off here. And let's hope we don't crack it. separator off, and I don't want to break it, so I'll just wait till Nathan gets back and let him deal with it. But in the meantime, we can change the oil filter, which is right here. Fairly simple. Screw on, screw off top. And this should be empty other than what is in the filter as it drains down and out. So this top comes off of the filter. Let's see if we can just slide the filter up. Just like that. I got the new oil filter all put on the top of the canister. I'll pull the hood back, put it right down into place, and tighten it up. This oil filter is pretty simple, and I did put the new O-ring on it and put oil on the O-ring so it can make a good seal. We'll get it tightened up here, and we'll be done with the oil filter. We'll probably be on to the cab filters, or engine air filters, for both of them, engine air filters. Set you guys up on the fender here of the 8R. The 8R and the 8430 have the same air filter style, and we will change the primary, which is the outer mid one, and then the secondary, which is the inner one. So there are 3,756 hours on this tractor, so that's what we'll write in the new filters. Just a quick in and out. The hours and write the date. And changing air filters is that easy. Put the cover back on. And that's done. I now have the cab primary air filter and then the recirculating filter. I believe it was on the combine that it had the same style of the cab primary air filter and the same style of the recirculating air filter. So I'll get them changed, then we'll figure out something to do next. You guys remember how dirty the combine filter is? Look at this. Jam-packed full of dust and dirt. That's what happens when you get 400 hours on a service. And look at this. Packed full of dirt. That's why we change the filters out every single year. We will definitely clean this up before we put it back in the tractor with a brand new filter on it. This is dusty. Look at it now. Clean. Brand new filter. Clean. That just shows you the difference between a brand new one and an old one. They get dirty. Very dirty. Well, we got the recirculating air filter sits above the cab. This is the old one. It's dirty. Even though it's just recirculating, it still gets dirty. And this is the new one. Clean. Set it right on its holder. Put it right back up in place. Well, I just swap out the 8R. It cleaned trash out of the cab. But it is 11:51. I have not ate lunch yet, so I'm gonna let both of these tractors still drain their oil. But when we come back from lunch, we will fill both tractors up with oil. And hopefully Nathan's back and he can get this water separator off this fuel filter so we can put it back on the 8R. Okay, see you after lunch.
That was 17 minutes of Brock cam. Guys, I was gone for like an hour and a half, and he shot over a half an hour of video. I'll work on his camera, get him something better for better audio and everything. But thanks for filming that, Brock. On with the rest of it. I'm sorry this one got long. What happened, Brock?
I stuck it to the metal piece in the oil room.
In the oil room, okay.
To show them, because I was going to take the water separator off in there.
In there.
And that magnet's strong.
The magnet is very strong.
Yes, it is.
You broke it trying to pull it off, didn't you?
I sure did.
Oh, yeah.
I sure did.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this magnet is a... I made this magnetic mount. It's not something I bought. That's a 450-pound pull magnet. Like if it was attached to solid steel, it would take 450 pounds to pull it straight off. You don't pull it off. You got to slide it to an edge and work it off on an angle. But that's okay. Well, I've pretty well got that filled in the way I want it. Now we just got to wait for it to dry. The can does not say what the dry time is on this, so it might be a while. I'm going to wash interior windows and put my kids' car seats and that stuff back in there while I'm waiting for it to cure. And we'll check on it in an hour or two. Okay, so I decided instead of putting the car seats back in, I'm going to tear them apart and wash them because children's are disgusting. I'm going to do that one, then I'm going to take them in and be like, Mom, will you wash my kids' car seats for me? She will. Brock's getting ready to put oil back in our tractors here. Our fancy bulk oil setup. Kind of fancy. 29.1 quarts. So I've been washing windows and polishing and looking at all the spots and chips and imperfections in the paint. It's all I can do to say, not say, screw it. Let's just paint the whole thing because it needs painting. That's what would fix it. Just paint the whole thing. Why not? I don't know where to stop, right? So let's just keep going. All right. Well, I've washed the exterior windows and the interior windows. I went over the front doors forward with my buffer. Well, with the dual action buffer, not the rotary buffer. And tried to shine a little bit. Some of it is better, most of it's better, some of it by a lot, some of it not very much. But anyway, it's time for this stuff. We're gonna spray it on, see what happens. Hopefully it'll shine up real nice. All right, let's see how this stuff works. Says to just spray it on and wipe it off. So yeah. It shines, it doesn't look too bad. Doesn't quite have the same feel, my fingers were wet, but it doesn't have that real slick, smooth feel that the Armor Shield 9 has. Which, it's not that product, it's not probably going to be that good, so it's what we expect. But we'll put it on, maybe we'll throw a little water on, see if it beads up real nice. Yeah, you stand back a little bit. She looks pretty darn nice. Yeah, a little smudgy, but that's just, I need to buff it out now. So yeah, I'm happy. This is the cleanest this truck has been in a long time. It's probably the cleanest it will ever be again, because let's be honest, after I buy a new truck, I'm not gonna do this to this one anymore. Okay, let's look at our fenders and see how our foam is doing. It has filled in the gap nicely. It's quite solid. I think it's time to trim it. So I'm gonna get a saw blade and we're gonna cut it flush and see what it looks like. If we're super lucky, it'll be nice and smooth and we can just paint it and not have to Bondo it at all. What are the chances? Very little. Don't scratch the paint. Well, we're not that lucky, but that's pretty good. That's gonna work really nice. Okay, cool. She was a little gooey in the big bubble yet, so I'm gonna let the other side dry a little bit more, but that's pretty good. So we'll let it dry. We probably should let it dry overnight, but we'll look at it another hour or so. If I can get the Bondo on tonight, then it can dry overnight, and then we can paint this tomorrow and get it out of here tomorrow. Because those tractors need washed. All right. Brock's getting some of the monitors and stuff out of that tractor, so I wanted to download the data off of this display. Yet I have not done that. It still has all of our wheat planting maps on there that I have not yet gotten, so I need those. Okay, so I'm sure this video is getting a little bit long. It kind of feels like it anyway, but I did mention to you guys last week that we were getting into some more of the business planning side of stuff, and I know a few of you have expressed interest in that, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time here this afternoon doing some of that business planning stuff. It's the time of year when we get our chemical bids and lock in our chemicals that we're going to use for the next year: corn herbicide, bean herbicides, fungicides, anything that we think we might need. And it's also that time of year to start thinking about starter fertilizers and that kind of stuff. So we're maybe a little bit early yet on that, but anyway, so I'm going to show you a little bit of that. I actually had one of our salesmen drop off a bid sheet to me earlier this afternoon, and waiting on another one or two just for competitive quotes to come in. But I have a spreadsheet, of course I do, to kind of compare this stuff and to track how much and what we're going to need. So I was going to show you that here briefly. So here's my spreadsheet. These are some of the different products that we use. I've got a few to add to that. I've got it programmed in here, whatever you want. I've got in here what rates are used per acre or per what, and then basically how much we need. That's calculated based off of the number of acres of the crop that those products are used for, and then kind of the quantity that we want to buy will get typed into that. That column needs zeroed out for right now, and then this one will tell me how many acres that amount of product will cover, basically taking this number times this number to equal that one. And then I've got three different boxes here. Those are for our different suppliers and different chemical quotes and stuff. And so we'll compare, you know, what this particular one is, you know, across all the chemicals, and we kind of pick and choose and we buy it from the cheapest place. We're not going to go back and forth with the guy and say, well, I can get this product for X dollars over here, but you know, if you sell it to me cheaper, I'll buy it from you. We get everybody's quotes, and whoever's got the best price line by line, that's what we buy from them, and we do it that way. So I think that's fair. Over here, I do have some columns for carryover product. I need to update these. These are last year's numbers that just need zeroed out and stuff, and basically I just need to go out and take inventory of what we have and what we carried over so that I know, and we can take that much off of how much we actually need to buy. So I have a quote here with some chemical prices and stuff on it. I'm going to go through, enter those in for the one of these, and then when we get our other quotes in, we can start comparing them. But I need to kind of figure out what products we're going to use, what chemical program we're going to go with, and how all that's going to work, and how much of everything we're going to need. All right, well, I've got that filled out for there. One thing is that this is my sheet from last year, so I was kind of comparing what these numbers are compared to these numbers, and things are relatively flat to down a touch to up a touch on a couple, like this Acuron at 43.25. I think it's 43.50. Yeah, so you know, that little bit, no big deal, especially when the other product that we're using on corn is some atrazine, was at $10.75 last year, and it's $10 this year. So on a per acre basis, things are going to work out pretty well. So then this sheet tells me, so our cost per acre would be this 27 plus the 269 basically is our corn program. And I am fully aware that our corn herbicide program is more expensive than a lot of other programs, and that there are ways to do it cheaper. I'm very, very aware of that. However, we have taken the approach on our farm that weed control in corn is absolutely critical to getting good weed control in soybeans the following year. And so the better job we can do on our corn, the better we're going to be set up for the following year. Plus, this program is a one-pass pre-emerge. We very, very rarely will go back into a field with a herbicide on a cornfield. Most programs are going to be a two-pass, once pre-emerge or at planting, and then followed up with an early post. And so this kind of eliminates a sprayer trip for us. We can afford to pay just a little bit more to do that, and also get very, very good weed control for the whole entire growing season. It's really rare that we get grass come in late, and we've been really happy with it. So our soybean program may be a little bit cheaper because of that, and it's just, we've found that that's the best way to do things, is to do a very, very good job in your corn. All right, well, we will get that stuff figured out over the next week or two here, working on the chemical stuff. I'm waiting, like I said, on some prices from another supplier, so we'll get there on that. I'm going to let this sit here again tonight. After I trimmed this one off earlier, it kind of gave it room to bubble out again where it wasn't quite firm. So I was looking at that Bondo over here, and this stuff cures remarkably fast. Like, you got 10 or 15 minutes to get it where you want it, and then 45 minutes later it's hard and you can paint it, sand it down and get it ready for paint. So we'll be able to do that in the morning. So tomorrow I'm gonna let that foam continue to cure overnight. We'll trim it, put the Bondo on in the morning, and should have it all done and painted up and be able to get that truck out of here tomorrow pretty easily. Means I get to take the little red car home again tonight, so no problem. Brock will be back tomorrow. He's gonna wash these tractors as soon as I get that truck out of the way. So hopefully I can get that done before he gets here, or at least close. And then we'll probably pull one of them forward and wash and get them all cleaned up and shiny. That's what we've got left to do this week, is work on tractors. And yeah, so anyway, have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching again, and thanks for all the comments on yesterday's video. I appreciate that. What was I going to tell you? Oh yeah, hey, I have a question. So last year I made this year in review video, right? And it was super popular. Like, it has over 8,000 views from a time when most of my videos have 1,500 to 2,000. This year I make a year in review video and nobody watches it. Like 4,500 when I normally get 7,000 or 8,000. So what's going on? Go watch it. My year in review video from last week. But anyway, questions, comments, leave them down below. Hit that subscribe button for me, please. Let's subscriber count has fallen off drastically since harvest has ended. Let's get it up to 15,000 quickly, and keep it growing. So appreciate it. We'll see you guys tomorrow.